in its recent basketball history. And the Irish reached into the archives for a play practiced for 4 years. And perfect execution sent Digger Phelps into his most joyous celebration in several years. Sophomore Elmer Bennett with one shot gave Notre Dame credibility by beating a ranked team on the road and a giant step toward another NCAA bid. From the Joyce Athletic and Convocation Center on the campus of the University of Notre Dame, it is Fighting Irish Basketball on Sports Channel America. And tonight, Notre Dame hosts the Blue Demons of DePaul. And welcome, everyone, to Notre Dame. Ted Robinson, Jim Gibbons. It is the renewal of a great rivalry. These teams still have 2 games left with each other this year. And, Jim, Notre Dame comes in after really its best win in the last several years.
Well, I think the Irish have finally gotten the monkey off of their back, Ted. I don't know how many times you and I have stood here and said, boy, they need a big win against a nationally ranked team. They got it on Saturday against Syracuse, and believe me, they are looking forward to this game tonight with DePaul.
Now, Notre Dame is not in the tournament yet, but this is desperation for DePaul tonight.
Well, I think most of the experts feel that maybe only one of these 2 teams is going to get into the 64-team field. I happen to think that Notre Dame's got to be one of the best 64 teams in the country. DePaul may be on the bubble, and I think they've got to approach this game tonight the way Notre Dame approached the Syracuse game on Saturday.
No question. Now, if there is a moment in any outstanding player's career when perhaps he steps up and emerges as a star, that moment Saturday might have been for Irish guard Elmer Bennett.
Well, Elmer Bennett is in double figures in 7 out of the last 8 games. They are 8-2 with him as a starter. Where he has helped them is he has given them that offensive power, especially against the zones. He can penetrate, he can create, but he can also play defense at the other end, Ted.
And I don't think a Rhodes Scholar needs to be here to figure out DePaul's going to have to hit from the outside tonight.
They are, and that's why most teams are zoning them, because they've had a lot of trouble shooting from the outside, and it's no secret Digger plans on zoning them.
Well, a great rivalry through the years and a lot of importance in this game tonight, so stay with us. We'll have the starting lineups in a moment. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America.
Chad, if I get...
Yep.
Can I, I'm not...
Yeah, I hear...
Okay, all right.
You hear me, Jim?
Yeah, now I do, okay.
You're not spread out tonight. I don't understand.
I got to get my stuff out here. I'm a little behind schedule.
Yeah, Jim. Well, Hippie, can you hold the tip here for about 6 minutes? We'll let Jim spread out.
Hippie, don't let him start this game. I didn't put my cards out yet.
But Digger's looking good tonight, man. Another nice outfit tonight. Look at that.
Yeah, I wonder who his bomber is.
He's also, he looks like he's dropped a few, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has.
He's slimmed down.
He has.
Good.
And welcome to the University of Notre Dame Athletic and Convocation Center.
That is mine, right?
Well, back at the Joyce Athletic and Convocation Center on the Notre Dame campus, it is a big week for Notre Dame. DePaul tonight, and the nationally ranked Georgia Tech is here Saturday. Now let's join Jack Lloyd for tonight's starting lineups.
Here is the starting lineup for the visiting Blue Demons of DePaul University. At forward, 6'7" and a junior from Cerritos, California, number 15, Kevin Holland. At forward, 6'7" and a sophomore from Peoria, Illinois, number 30, David Booth. At center, 6'9" and a sophomore from Dallas, Illinois, number 21, Stephen Howard. At guard, 6'3" and a junior from Chicago, number 20, Melvon Foster. At guard, 6'4" and a freshman from College Park, Georgia, number 25, Terry Davis. The head coach of the Blue Demons, a 1971 DePaul graduate in his 6th season, Joey Meyer. And now, the starting lineup for your Fighting Irish. At guard, 6'1" and a sophomore from Houston, Texas, number 12, Elmer, Bennett. At guard, 6'4" and a senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 3, co-captain Joe Fredrick. Center, 6'9" and a senior from Buffalo, New York, number 50, Keith Robinson. At forward, 6'7" and a freshman from Forest Heights, Maryland, number 32, Monty Williams. At forward, 6'9" and a sophomore from East St. Louis, Illinois, number 20, LaPhonso Ellis. The head coach of the Fighting Irish in his 19th season, Digger Phelps.
All right, we're getting set to Paul and Notre Dame from the ACC and Notre Dame, and we'll have the opening tip for you. First, we pause for a regional break.
Thank you. You guys won't have me to kick around very much longer.
Oh, I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, I know. And if Jim says Harstead one time tonight, we turn his mic off. If he calls him Harstead or Gallagher.
Oh, God, don't even bring it up.
I know. Here tonight, the renewal of a fine rivalry over the years, and a trio of officials from the Mid-American Conference, Mike Stockner, Norm Nelson, and Mick Seacrest, working tonight's game. Blue Demons have had the better of things recently, a split in the series of the teams last year. They, of course, will play twice this year. They have a game coming up at the end of the season at the Horizon in Chicago.
Oh, that's over and back.
That's exactly what it is.
Over and back.
Melvon Foster caught the ball and came down in front court for an over and back.
Terry Davis just wasn't quite sure whether that ball had been tapped by DePaul or not, and he wanted to try to save it. He threw it into the backcourt, and the player jumped, and it went from one to the other, and obviously that's a black court violation.
Now the Irish working, and down low it is Holland that muscles up against LaPhonso Ellis. The Irish will keep that 29 to shoot.
Man-to-man defense by DePaul, and they are a very, very good defensive team.
DePaul allowing its opponents this year to shoot just 42%. That is remarkable. And Joey Meyer says despite all the struggles this year with injuries and stuff, the one thing we've done, we've played good defense.
They have played good defense with pressure on that ball, and they're overplaying those passing lanes.
Monty Williams got the baseline on Booth, but then the shot was put back. And back come the Demons with Melvon Foster.
Little bit of transition right there, and that's one thing Notre Dame is worried about in their keys, to stop their transition game, DePaul.
And it is a zone right away. So DePaul is going to have to do the one thing they haven't been able to do this year, Jim, and that's hit consistently from the outside.
You bet, only shooting 44%.
Holland took the first shot, missed it, and the Irish bring it back. Elmer Bennett. Another factor tonight, both of these teams, good rebounding teams. There shouldn't be a lot of second shots offensively.
Well, that is going to be an absolute key. That's the travel. An absolute key for this game, Ted, is for both teams to keep the other off the offensive glass. Everybody knows about Notre Dame, but a DePaul team, their best offense, because they're not shooting well, is their ability to go to the offensive glass, keep the ball alive, and get those second efforts. And they've got the quickness to do it. That's what Notre Dame is worried about.
Melvon Foster really an off guard, but he plays the point really out of necessity for this team, which has been decimated by injuries at the guard spot. And Ellis missed, rebounds, Booth missed.
The first thing Joey Meyer yelled was go to the board. Booth took the shot, and not a player on DePaul reacted to the glass. Over the top.
Fredrick's shot goes out, so we played 1 minute and 40 seconds of scoreless ball. Joey Meyer, he knows his team is still breathing. They have 14 wins and 6 games remaining in their season, 4 of them at home. But they need wins. They can't afford many more losses. Terry Davis, the freshman, misses a 3, but there's a long rebound. And a muscle shot back up that dances and drops for Stephen Howard.
He's the one guy that they're particularly worried about, because that is his game. He can go to that glass.
So Fredrick one-on-one move. Cut off down low. Ball swings to Monty Williams. Bennett, nice fake on the baseline. Elmer Bennett with a shot. It counts and a foul.
Taking right up where he left off last Saturday when he made that big three-pointer at the buzzer. Take a look now. 7 of the last 8 games, as we said, he has been in double figures. There's the good head and shoulder fake. He had the presence, Ted, to stop there instead of continuing that dribble, because he was about ready to run into a lot of traffic, and that was a good judgment call on Elmer Bennett's part.
I mean, what is one shot like the one Bennett hit at Syracuse? What does that do for the confidence of the player?
You know, I'm sure it's a gigantic step, but Ted, he had been playing so well offensively lately. You know, they're 8-2 with him in the starting lineup, and he's just been playing so well that I think his confidence level was way up there to begin with.
Nice move. David Booth slashing in, and he will go to the foul line.
In the last 8 games, Elmer Bennett has averaged 13 points in those games, only playing 27 minutes. Well, see, he caught Keith Robinson coming out there now. The one thing Digger has told those people, when you come out that way, make a lunge at that player like you're going at him, Ted, but then stop, because you know the player's going to see you coming toward you and he's going to blow by you. That time, Robinson kept coming, and obviously David Booth did exactly what he wanted him to do. He blew by him. This young man is very, very, very offensive-minded. His game is to drive to the basket and create and get fouled and shoot free throws, and the zone is going to stop him from doing a little bit of that. There's the 1-2-1-1 after the free throw.
They're going to get a foul here on Terry Davis in the backcourt. That'll be the second on DePaul. Booth leads DePaul in scoring, and his foul shots give the Blue Demons a 4-3 lead. We've played 2.5 minutes. DePaul will extend their defense. They'll do a little pressure, although Joey Meyer would like to press more, but the injuries that cost him, particularly Curtis Price, his standout guard from a year ago. He's out with a wrist injury for the rest of the year. He's had to call the pressure off this year because of that. As LaPhonso Ellis hits on his first shot, and the Irish lead 5-4.
Stephen Howard was matched up against Ellis on that exchange. I'm watching to see who's guarding Robinson and who's guarding Ellis, because those are two key matchups, obviously, for DePaul.
Oh, nice pass and a great rejection by Ellis underneath. Bennett stops, feeds Fredrick for the layup. But it started at the other end with a great send back by LaPhonso Ellis.
Very good court awareness by Elmer Bennett, and that's Ellis. He needs only 8 more blocks, Ted, to pass Orlando Woolridge as the all-time leading shot blocker for Notre Dame.
Good boost, Stephen Howard. He's a left-hander, so he had to turn his body around to take it. Kind of an awkward shot.
See, the Irish are really taking the offensive glass, Ted, away from DePaul. See what the zone does now. Watch. The great thing about shot blockers is if they can learn to keep the ball in play. Now watch Ellis. There's the post feed underneath. Great timing. He didn't foul, but he kept the basketball in play.
So it is Irish ball with a 3-point lead. And it's Bennett to Keith Robinson from 15.
Very good step out. Very good judgment right there by Notre Dame.
Trying to slap it away from behind on Foster. This is Terry Davis, a freshman. He's the best outside shooter right now on the Blue Demon squad.
So you've had Robinson and you've had LaPhonso Ellis both, Ted, that have stepped outside and taken that jumper from up top, which I don't think DePaul has expected them to do, and they both hit him.
Davis missing outside, and the ball tipped to Ellis. Right to the hands of Bennett. Good cross the zone pass to Fredrick, who spots Robinson inside, and the ball does not drop. Good play by Notre Dame nonetheless, and the rebound by Holland. Here is Booth, and an offensive foul on David Booth. Fredrick held his ground, and Booth is called for his first. And that brings us to a timeout. We have played almost 5 minutes. Notre Dame out to a 9-4 lead. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America.
Okay.
Give you an NBC credit, all right? Hey, Sowell is in the game for DePaul. Oh, I'm trying to, yeah. It did fill up. You were right, Jim. Filled up. It filled up there. We're watching on television over there. Kennedy's in Massachusetts. Well, game plan in the first 5 minutes working pretty well as far as Notre Dame goes. Let DePaul shoot it just like they let Syracuse shoot it.
Absolutely. They are, look, it's 1 of 7, 14% right now. And the other thing that's happening, Ted, they know they're not a good outside shooting team. The second thing that zone is doing is it's taking away their offensive rebounding, because they are a very, very good offensive rebounding team. They're not getting anybody to go to the glass, and they're not getting any second or third efforts. So right now, everything is going in Notre Dame's favor.
To mention the absences for DePaul. Brad Neiman, who would have started this year and done a lot of shooting. He's out with a back injury. Freshman B.J. Tyler is going to transfer. He started for them. Curtis Price out with a bad wrist.
They have lost 3, and we can get into that. 3 quality athletes. Now, the first, that time down the ball, DePaul, I was listening to what they were saying off the bench, Joey Meyer. That time DePaul went into his zone for the first time against Notre Dame.
Charles Sowell in the game for the first time, and it's Booth knifing. That's Booth's game.
There it is. Penetrating, creating, going to the glass, trying to get fouls so he can get himself to the line. He is a great offensive player.
He's the old basketball axiom. He is a scorer and not a shooter.
Yep, he is. I'm telling you, he is offensive-minded.
Again, throwing over the zone to Bennett.
See, that's the one thing that Bennett gives them is that outside shooting number one, and he creates a little bit against the zone.
Good reaction by Holland, but Ellis saves it. And then his pass is whipped off the basket support out of bounds, and a turnover gives it to DePaul.
See, you got to do two things against the zone, Ted. You got to have player movement, and you've got to have ball movement, and I don't think DePaul is doing that against Notre Dame's zone. And DePaul has got the quickness that they can get the ball moving and the player movement.
See, now that's what hurts DePaul, because Davis is their best outside shooter. He had a wide open shot. He's missed 3 of them now in the early goal.
34% he's shooting on 16 of 44. They're only shooting 33% from three-point range. They are not a three-point shooting team.
No, Ellis with a nice putback on Williams' miss. Not a control to be, just kind of rammed it up there. It is. 2 hoops for LaPhonso Ellis.
See, that's a little better, but it's traveled too much by Charles Sowell. He's just in too much of a hurry. He's not an offensive threat. He's going to give them size, and he does 2 things well. Number one, he's a threat in the low block, and secondly, he is a pretty good passer from the high post if they play the high-low offense.
Chuckie Murphy in for DePaul. First appearance, he replaces Foster. DePaul has good size defensively, but not offensively. Their big people are not offensive threats.
Usually a 3-guard offense when he comes into the game. That's a pretty good high-low right there by Notre Dame. Nice pass by Robinson to Monty Williams.
So the Irish are getting good shots here in the early going. That's something DePaul has had trouble allowing. Their opponents don't get good shots, and Bennett comes out with a steal. On the break to Ellis. Well, that one, and I got to say Joey Meyer's got a gripe there. It looks like Ellis grabbed the rim. Then Joey Meyer was signaling the technical foul call, and instead his player, Chuckie Murphy, thought he was signaling timeout, and DePaul mistakenly takes a timeout. Well, that was a mistake all the way around. Joey Meyer wanted a technical foul, and his player thought he said timeout. With Notre Dame leading 15-6, we pause now for a regional break. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America. No.
Yeah, he was. Can Hippie, Gary? Yeah, can you get it back for us? And then you haven't got Joey signaling for the technical, have you? That's where the player got confused. No, that's right. You can grab, but only if you're doing it to protect yourself. But I wasn't quite sure there was any way that he was going to get hit there. That was the technicality.
Right. That's good.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And if he can run it after too, do you have any shot?
Let me see. Go ahead. See, there's nobody near him. He wasn't up that. See, that's. You're right, Ted. You're right. Okay.
Should have been hit there. Then Murphy made a mistake. Gibbons, who officiated for many years, is going to explain the interpretation here as you watch LaPhonso Ellis.
Watch, you can grab the rim if you feel you are going to be hit, and you're doing it to protect yourself. But in that instance, there was nobody near LaPhonso, and he grabbed it because he lost his balance. Then Joey Meyer stood up and said, wait a minute, that's not legal, that's a technical. And Chuckie Murphy looked over, thought he was calling a time because Joey was giving the technical foul sign, and Murphy inadvertently called the timeout.
It's one of those things that, not a big deal now, but DePaul hopes it doesn't come back to hurt him later in the game.
You know, see if they get any penetration. You've got to penetrate against that zone and create things. That's a little better player movement.
Oh, and Foster missed an easy one. Sowell's rebound. Ellis blocked it. Another try. And finally, finally, DePaul losing possession. The Irish come out with it. But it's a tough series. DePaul fought well inside, but came away with nothing.
And that's what we said. That's exactly why Charles Sowell is in there. Watch, there's the Fonz rotating back again and doing another good job, and then he's right back in and intimidating.
Two big blocks for Ellis early. Here's Fredrick passing it off to Williams. And Fredrick on the drive, and it goes with a foul.
Here's Joe Fredrick. Watch him. He can create and penetrate himself. Watch. There it is. Good body balance. 21 right there, I think, got him right in there on the way, Stephen Howard. But he hung long enough that he could force the contact and finish the shot. He's got himself at the line for a three-pointer.
And the Irish have opened up a 12-point lead early in the first half.
They shot 20 of 24 at the line against Syracuse on Saturday. DePaul was only 13 of 30 against UAB, which really hurt them.
David Booth, you can see that's not his game. It stands still three.
I'll tell you, I think the further away from the basket he goes, the less effective he is.
Keith Robinson, Monty Williams, Elmer Bennett. Irish stay with the starting five. They played most of the way at Syracuse. Bennett shot blocked by Sowell, and here's a 2-on-1. Murphy missing with a no call as he rammed into Fredrick. And the ball to the Irish.
Boy, pretty good defense on a 2-on-1 by Joe Fredrick. And you know why, Ted? Because the two DePaul players didn't split themselves out. They were too close together, and there was less territory for Joe Fredrick to have to guard. Then he gambled, and I thought it was pretty close to being an offensive player control.
Right now, Notre Dame having everything its way. 9 minutes, and DePaul has only scored 2 field goals. As they double down on him, he kicks it out to Monty Williams, and that's a 2 as he had just touched the line. 20-6 for Notre Dame.
See, Notre Dame has got to beat teams from the inside out rather than outside in, but now they're starting to get that outside shooting, which is making them a very difficult team to defend against, especially, Ted, when they're playing at home.
Sowell trying to force it in. He got a break there. Foster picked up the loose ball, missing a scoop, got his own rebound and misses inside. And finally it goes out. We've got a foul call on Foster. Oh, and the Blue Demons have got to be incredibly frustrated, Jim, as they're missing a lot of easy shots.
You used my word, because that's exactly what I was going to say. That has to be at least the 6th shot that they've had right underneath the basket, and they haven't been able to get it to drop. It seems like they're expecting the shot to get blocked, number one, and I think they're in such a hurry. They're playing with intensity, there's no doubt about that, but they're just in too much of a hurry to try to get accomplished what they want to. Look at that. 11-0 in the last 3:40.
Ellis pulled out from the hoop to Bennett. 2-man game on the left side. Now Elmer driving all the way in. Oh, that element that Elmer Bennett adds to the Notre Dame offense. So important. There's a lob ahead to Howard. Good position inside. No basket. There's Bennett with Fredrick. Monty Williams, and he missed the jab, but a great pass by Bennett.
What a great drop pass. I mean, you talk about seeing the floor. That player was behind him, Ted.
Joey Meyer calling a play out to Chuckie Murphy. Barry Davis, 3-guard offense for the Demons. Murphy going in and giving it off in the last minute to a surprise Howard, who takes it right in.
Boy, see, that's what I'm talking about starting to drive against that zone, Ted, because they got into the creases and into the seams. He penetrated, drew the defense to him in a nice pass.
And a steal. Murphy stealing Bennett's pass. Good spin move, but he left the dribble out. Ellis almost stole it, but Davis saves it. Foster misses a third tip, misses inside, and DePaul will get it back again. Oh my, an incredible flurry of missed shots.
Take a look. See, he knows that that lane is going to be filled right there by Monty Williams. He took a look at Joe Fredrick on the one side and dropped that ball without even looking, and that pass was right where Monty Williams grabbed it without breaking stride.
Boy, it actually looked like Howard made a good play, got a piece of the ball as Monty was going up.
Sure did.
And now inside, up the inbounds, Howard gets a hoop and a foul.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Hip, for the replay. That was a good one.
Foul on Ellis, his first, second foul against the Irish. Tim Singleton in for Notre Dame. First Irish substitution in the game. And Kevin Ellery has come in as well. And Howard converts a three-point play. He has 7 of DePaul's 11 points. DePaul's season has been pretty predictable.
Yep, the 1-2-1-1 after the made free throw again, but good recognition by Notre Dame.
Oh, Fredrick had a layup and he gave it away, but Ellis makes a good play to save it.
Boy, don't ask me why he did that. You know where Fonz was going into rebound.
And Joe Fredrick, with that three-pointer, has become the 32nd player in the history of Notre Dame basketball to score 1,000 points. Robinson, before this season ends, will be the 33rd. He is within 40 points as he rebounds there. But Joe Fredrick reaching the 1,000-point milestone with that three. Here's Elmer. Notre Dame with 5 quick points in transition. It's now 27-11.
They're playing on all cylinders right now, both offensively and defensively. They are intimidating on defense, and they are really in sync offensively. Whether it's the man-to-man or the zone that DePaul plays, Notre Dame is really executing. See, they're just not getting into anything, Ted. They're just kind of standing around, and really, that's a good ball movement right there.
But, you know, Joey Meyer can't be too frustrated because they're getting good shots in many cases. Just can't make layups. And Notre Dame's making a lot of shots. Oh, and a big rebound by Robinson, and he will go to the line.
Well, that's the kind of action that the people have been wanting to see from Keith Robinson year after year. And a little story was in the newspaper over the weekend, I believe. Watch Robinson go to that glass. See, he wanted that rebound. That ball was surrounded by 3 DePaul players, but he got it because he made the effort to get it. But his high school coach drove over to Syracuse from Buffalo to watch the game, had a big, long talk with him. That's as well as Keith had played in that particular game. Interesting, the coach also talked to him before the UCLA game, and that was his other best game of the year. He was going to talk to him tonight, and he's going to be here in person for the Georgia Tech game.
That's right. A lot of changes, as you've seen. Damon Sweet and Keith Tower are in for the Irish. Melvon Foster is back in for DePaul, and James Hamby, the 7'1" senior from Elgin, Illinois, is also in. And Keith Robinson, who has become a premier foul shooter, 85% this year.
Well, he was 19 out of 20 in the last 5 games. Then he entered the season at 65%, if you can believe it. But this is what hard work and concentration and effort has done. And the team is shooting much better.
And those 2 fouls get us to timeout. 29-11, the Irish, as we pause now for a regional break. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel. Ooh, that's a heck of a game. Wow, I'm going to have to watch that one. Nova and Temple. That's a heck of a game. Okay, yep. For Notre Dame. Dame in a game they need to win, and a huge game tomorrow night in Philadelphia. And there are a few better rivalries than you'll find in Philadelphia college basketball. Tomorrow night, one of the best, Villanova and Temple. And you'll see it tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on Sports Channel. It may not be available in all areas, so please check your local Sports Channel listings for details.
Take a look at that, my friend. 17%. 4 of 23 for DePaul, and as you said, a lot of very good high percentage shots.
It just hasn't been jump shooting. They've been inside for a decent number of layups. Notre Dame has challenged those layups. Give Notre Dame credit for that.
Still a zone defense by Notre Dame, and a very active zone. As active a zone as I've seen them play.
And Stephen Howard will go to the line on the foul against Kevin Ellery.
See, 2 things cause zones the most problems, Ted. The use of dribble penetration and player movement. I've said it about 3 times, but the dribble is the best way for distorting a slide. If you drive the ball into those gaps, it's difficult for the zone to slide the way it wants to. And that's what I've been saying with the quickness that DePaul has. I think that's open to them. Sometimes they're doing it, other times they're not, but I think it's open to them, and they've got to do it a lot more and then get some of the player movement they've gotten about 3 or 4 times when they got the nice passes inside.
Robinson sitting, Ellis back. And Stephen Howard has been a very nice find for Joey Meyer, has 9 first-half points. 29-13, the Irish.
Look at that, right over the trap, which is exactly the way you want them. Now they've got the numbers, and they're going to go for it.
And Singleton going right to the hole, fouled by James Hamby.
Boy, Notre Dame has done a good job with a lot of teams that I've seen, Ted, especially against Dayton. Watch. You cannot, when you know the trap is coming, see, right over the top. Now they've got the numbers. There's the pass back into the middle, and now he's going right to the glass. So many times teams will beat that press, then they bring the ball back up and set up their offense, and I say, why would you do that? Because you're playing right into the hands of the defense when you do that. What have they got to lose when they put the press on if you're not going to take it to the basket?
That's it. Another whole basketball. You must make a team pay for pressing.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely am convinced of that.
Singleton's first point, 30-13 for the Irish with 6:50 to play in the first half.
Anytime a team full court presses, you weigh the turnovers against the easy baskets you might give up. That's the basis of it.
And again, that's the pressure that Joey Meyer said he'd like to use more. He started the year with it, but he had to call it off 10 games into the year. He just didn't have the people.
Boy, I'm sorry, Ted. I have been very impressed with Notre Dame's action in that zone. I'm telling you, in all the games I've done, not only this year, for a lot of years, Notre Dame games, this is about as active as I've seen them in a zone. Boy, they are talking, they're communicating, the hands are up, they've got good movement, they are really moving, sometimes before the ball is even passed. Look at Daimon Sweet talking.
Boy, Davis way off. Saved in the corner, though, by Booth. DePaul's already over the foul limit. Notre Dame just 4 team fouls. Spinning with the left-hander, Howard, and he gets that to drop, and he's fouled.
Well, he's their second leading rebounder. He's got good offensive skills, Ted. He has a nice touch on the ball. He's more comfortable facing the basket, but watch, he's left-handed, so he's going to come back that way. Look at, he got his right arm out and kept, was it Tower? Yes, Tower away from him, and he got it to drop. Now, the tough thing about DePaul is that they've got James Hamby in the game, and he's not an offensive threat inside. Hamby's only averaging 2 points a game, so that's putting a lot of pressure on the outside shooters and Stephen Howard if he's going to be inside. Oh, they haven't. Tower just didn't get the ball to Singleton.
6:05 to play in the half. 30-16, the Irish. Ellery down low, and Ellis doubled down and tripled down on it, but knocked away, and finally Foster comes out with a loose ball. And in the break, he goes all the way in, and Melvon Foster with his first hoop.
Didn't play it very well, Ted, but he got the basket, and that's all that matters. He almost let that break get away from them. I'm looking at their defense in the man-to-man.
Boy, he's holding that ball out there. And Melvon Foster said, okay, you hold it out there, I'll take it.
You bet. You hold that ball that long against DePaul, they've got enough quickness that they're going to drop down there and run somebody right at you and get that thing.
Howard short, Tower rebound. Singleton. DePaul at an 8-1 run here. And Tower going in. And he's going to be called for the offensive foul. His second.
2 possessions, and Notre Dame didn't get a shot at the basket either time. I mean, they got a shot at the basket, but nothing out of it. Digger just walked all the way down to the end line, his hands on his hips, because Tower put the ball on the floor the first time. That time, he drew the charge. I guess I should say he charged, right, rather than drawing the charge.
So DePaul trying to keep a run going here. They're getting back within 10. Digger Phelps with Keith Robinson back in the game, along with Ellis and Ellery, Sweet and Singleton.
Take that shot.
Murphy passed it up, and Terry Davis hits his first shot. So DePaul now a 9-1 run. Cuts the lead to 10. Davis Sweet. Big rebound tipped out to Robinson. He put it down. And finally Davis comes out with it for DePaul. So Notre Dame hitting a little cold spell for the first time, and DePaul clawing back in the game.
See, this is a big possession again. Now they've got it down to 10. Now they want to get it down under double digits if they can, Ted, but they've got to be patient.
Howard cut off. Good spot to Foster. And Ellis says, take that, and here's Singleton with Sweet trailing. Oh, and a good pass back and a block, and they're going to call that what? Technical foul. Let's see what this call's all about.
I think he's got one for slamming the backboard.
Right.
Boy, and you don't see that very often. And it has to be on a shot. It has to affect that shot. And I think that's what Mike Stockner has. Now, he's talking to Mick Sechrist right now, getting well, watch. Let's watch. Great block. Take a look. Take a look. The DePaul people are really upset. Now, let's see what happens here. Let's see if he slams the... Boy, he hit the ball and hit that backboard.
Yeah. We do not see that called often during the course of a season.
You are absolutely right that you do not see that.
So Murphy is called for the technical foul for hitting the backboard, violating the backboard, I think is what they call it.
Vibrating that board, Ted. It has to vibrate, and there's no doubt that it did. It has to happen on a try. That's what I said to you. And it has to be the opponent's backboard, which it was right there. And the ball has to have a chance to go in. Now, that ball, I'm not sure, had a chance to go in.
Well, it winds up not hurting DePaul at all as Fredrick missed both foul shots. And we pause now for a regional break. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America. Okay.
Was that it right there? Well, I can't see from that angle whether that ball had a chance of going in or not. That's the only thing that I'm questioning. The other one? Okay.
I don't think we'll ever tell because he blocked the shot on the way up.
Right.
You're never going to tell. You know, you see blocked on the way up. So you're not going to
that's exactly.
You can't judge it.
No, you can't. See, that ball had a chance. That ball did have a chance.
I still got to say that's a good block, though. Officials on a ball going up to the basket. Nice play by Singleton and Sweet, first of all.
Watch behind the back. Terrific. And pretty good defense right there. Who is it? Number 12, Chuckie Murphy? Boy, he came back and really hustled to save that thing. Now, all the elements that we talked about were there. The only thing I don't know about, Ted, to be honest with you, is he blocked that basketball, and I'm not quite sure, and I'm going to try to find out before we're done. I'm going to try to find out whether when he blocks the ball that way, I think it's still, if you vibrate it, they think it affects the shot, and I think that's why Mike Stockner called it.
Yeah. Ball did hit the rim after he blocked it.
Right.
So the technical foul itself only hurts DePaul because it cost him possession. Fredrick missed both foul shots, but Notre Dame keeps the ball. And despite that big shooting difference you saw, it's only a 10-point game.
The one thing Joey told both of us is this team really plays hard. And that's exactly what they've done, because they had a chance to get themselves buried. You know that.
They need to keep the score low. They haven't won any high-scoring games all year. Fredrick way short. Robinson is going to be a travel. No basket, traveling call. DePaul played one game this year. They beat Fordham 51-38. In this era of shot clock and three-point line, you don't think it's possible to play a full game with that score.
Well, they lost their best inside scorer, Bundy, and their best outside scorer, Terry Green, and their leading rebounder, Bundy, and their two leading scorers, Bundy and Green. So they lost a ton last year. They just haven't been able to get the outside scoring that Terrence Green gave them.
Chuckie Murphy. And Keith Robinson runs the long rebound down. It's still 30-20, Notre Dame. 2:45 to play in the half. Bennett back in to Ellery. Fredrick, Ellis, and Robinson. And the ball kicked. Now we're going to have a foul. We have a foul on James Hamby inside.
James. Yep, another role player. As I said, not a scorer. He's going to give them size. He can be a factor on the man he's guarding and around the basket, but right there he wasn't because he just had too much body on him. They got him even as the entry pass was coming in. They got James Hamby.
Monty Williams now in for Kevin Ellery. So the starting lineup back out for Notre Dame at 2:35 to play in the half. Well, while we mentioned DePaul is a low-scoring team, they need the game really off their year this year in the 60s to win. Notre Dame is scoring at its highest pace since the 70s.
Yep, they're at 81 points a game. Notre Dame is, Ted. You know, and DePaul is scoring. Let's take a look and see what they're scoring. 67 a game. So you're right. If it's in the 60s, it's going to be obviously to DePaul's advantage.
6 points for Keith Robinson and a 12-point Notre Dame lead. They had an 18-point lead at 29-11.
Boy, this is when you really want to spurt if you can. If you're DePaul, to get right back in it. If you're Notre Dame, to get it up there to about 15 or so.
Good steal by Bennett. Can't put it down at the other end. It's ripped down by Terry Davis. And Chuckie Murphy. Irish collapsing again back into that zone.
Chuckie Murphy provides a little more direction for them offensively, Ted. That's why they've got him in there.
Davis for three, and a long rebound to Kevin Holland. Good feed inside to Howard. He lost the ball when he put it down. And now Howard called for a foul on Joe Fredrick. Howard's second, and Fredrick will shoot a 1-and-1. Hey, stay tuned at halftime. We're going to check back in with Sports Nightly for all the latest scores and highlights in tonight's sports action. You can get a complete look at the day in sports on Sports Nightly, which comes up at halftime here on Sports Channel America. Fredrick back at the line. He is a 79% foul shooter. And Joe buries the front end for his 9th first half point. Notre Dame still with these 2 games remaining with DePaul this season. They still have a game at Dayton. And they'll play Missouri, Georgia Tech, and Kentucky all here.
No one ever said it was going to be easy, right?
Brutal. A tough schedule. The Irish at 14-8 coming in. 6 remaining. DePaul 14-12 with 6 remaining. Notre
Dame still in the zone defense and still as active as it was. See, Booth just hasn't gotten his hands on the ball enough, and he isn't able to create and do the kinds of things. Boy, that's twice in a row that Stephen Howard has had trouble getting a handle on that ball. That wasn't a bad entry pass, I didn't think, that Kevin Holland gave him. I just didn't think Howard concentrated enough.
Well, here goes Howard right inside. He can't get it down. Slapped around, and Howard comes down with the ball on the layup. He has had a big first half with 14 points.
See, they're getting a little more active under that offensive glass, Ted, and that's what I said. It's their best offense to keep the ball alive. Good post defense.
Oh, there's a nice play as Booth cut in there to steal that ball. It's a break with Holland in the middle to Howard. 16 for Stephen Howard in the first half, and in the last minute, DePaul again within 10.
See, when you're not a good shooting team, Ted, you have to play good defense. You have to protect the basketball. You have to watch the turnovers. You've got to make your free throws. This team is good, and they've got to create some offense with their defense, and that's what they did on that last possession. There it is again.
Yeah, they cut right in front of Ellis and stole the entry. Chuckie Murphy in. Can't get it to roll, and Monty Williams with a big Notre Dame rebound. And the Irish are back with a break. Bennett pulling up. Oh, and a tough miss, and now DePaul will look for the last shot. That would have been a nice two for Notre Dame to steal.
That would have been a big turnaround on the miss by Murphy at that end. If Notre Dame had scored at the other, that would have been a big 4-point turnaround.
Murphy can't get it down. Ellis with a rebound, and he's called for traveling, and so DePaul will get one last chance at 2 seconds.
Digger didn't like it because he thought the reason that LaPhonso Ellis traveled is because the DePaul player forced him to travel. They got 2 seconds.
Forced shot by Howard, and that's the end of the half, and Howard is hurt.
Yes, he is.
Howard went down colliding with Elmer Bennett, and Stephen Howard is hurt. And he's holding his hand. He may have jammed or dislocated well, I'm not going to guess. We'll see. Boy, that's a tough way for the half to end for DePaul because Howard had 16 points. Went down as if he had dislocated a finger of some sort. But the first half ends here at the ACC with Notre Dame leading 34-24. Sports Nightly comes up next. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America.
What do you think? What do you think?
I haven't seen any. How you guys leaving? Hey, new man? Oh, okay. All ready to go? Let's see. Did you get one from him? You didn't talk to him the right way. You gotta talk to him nice. You gotta look at our budget. No, hey, just charge bucks on Hawaii. You lost it on the way. When are you guys leaving? Tomorrow. He can't be disturbed now. Where are you staying? I'm staying with my in-laws.
Do you know Ted? My son Brian. Brian's the umpire.
Sit down, pull up a chair. How are you? Good. No, gotta go back. Thanks. 31st. Here in South Bend. Where are you playing? Illinois. March 6th? Illinois. Probably Bob Parker here in grade 9.
Are we there, anybody? Do we have the highlights? Okay, hold on now. I'm working on two different things. Okay, I'm ready for highlights. Fredrick, three-pointer. Hold on. Can you wait for his 1,000th point? Okay. Hold on a second. At 48%. Okay. All right.
Stuff over here, man. Freebies, right?
Booth steals. And Howard is going to score. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, I'm writing notes as I go along, Hip, if you don't mind. He just wrote a note, and I won't tell you what it said. Hold on. You have to create your offense with the defense. Okay. Offense. Elmer. Bennett. Creating and penetrating, do we know? Well, maybe I have to change it to penetrating first, and then he'll create as he's penetrating and creating. Penetrating and creating. Okay, I've got him. I've got him. All right.
There was 10, not 8.
Wait, what'd you just say? He does? Okay. All right, good. Okay, Hip. Didn't they get it to it? Well, it's only 8 now, isn't it? Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Okay, well, you going to show me the highlights? Hold it. Okay. Joe Fredrick. Ask him what number 1,000-point player that is for Notre Dame. Okay. No. Okay, that's the good post to hold it. No, that's not Booth. Get that back. No. Well, there you know. Who go back? You got to go. Who is that right there with the ball right there? Who's the guy right there? Right there that knocks the ball away. That fit. What number is that? Is it 15? Is that Chuckie Murphy? No, that's not. No, that's Kevin Holland. Okay, Holland knocks the ball away. That's not Booth, right? Holland with the post defense. Okay, and then Booth saved it, right? Okay. Howard, right? How many did Howard have in the first half? Do we? Yeah, there's, okay, I'm ready on that one. Now, do we know how many points Howard has? How many points does Howard have? Do we know? 16. Thank you. 2 minutes. I don't know. What are we doing, Hip? And we're going to do the highlights next?
What are we doing,
the highlights
Hip?
and stats.
Hip, what are we doing, buddy? Jimmy, you saw those highlights?
I got them.
Good.
You bet, Ted. I got you covered. Brian, you might have to move to the side here a little bit because we're going to... Oh, you want...
You know what it's like, Brian?
So goddamn ugly.
Oh, wait, no, don't get that over the air.
You know what it's like? It's a... Yeah! Right? You give me one of those.
Starting a month.
What, you go down in a month?
Spring training starts March 18th.
For you.
He's used to talking like that because he's an umpire.
Oh, Denise. Good spot. Good spot.
So it's real close to Clearwater and St.
Right.
Yeah, real nice. Nice mouth, huh? Where are the field goal percentages here?
I hope I run into you down there. I'll be in Orlando. And
How can they give us the stats without the percentages?
Get over that part, just give me a call.
Yeah, I will. I'll find you somewhere.
Holy crime.
Nice seeing you.
Okay, Bryce, thanks. Bye, Brian.
1 minute.
I knew it. I was going to get that in. If no matter what I did, that was going to be said tonight.
What was?
That I said, nice going, Gary, because he gets so offended.
Gather around, children. Notre Dame leading 34-24 at halftime at Notre Dame. There are so many wonderful stories we could tell about that first half, Jim, but I guess if you're Joey Meyer, you sit in the locker room, you tell your team the story about the club that couldn't put the ball in the ocean but fought hard and eventually won a ball game. That's where DePaul looks at this first half.
I'm telling you, it is absolutely amazing, and I know you expect me to say this, that DePaul is within 10 points of Notre Dame at this time. They are shooting 24% in that first half, and they had nothing going right for them for about the first 12 minutes of the game. I thought Notre Dame had absolute control both offensively and defensively. I thought all of a sudden that when the substitutes came in off the bench for Notre Dame, I didn't think that Digger got anything out of them. I didn't think they added to what was going on. All of a sudden, Notre Dame started struggling. Tower turned the ball over a couple of times, you know, the one charge, the second when he put the ball on the floor. Then some of the shots that DePaul was missing started to drop for them.
Yet Digger, I guess, he's kind of got himself in a position where the starting five is really the way he's going to go. They scored all the points in the win over Syracuse in that starting five.
Right. Neither team got much off of their bench. DePaul's bench people don't do an awful lot of scoring for them. When you put Sowell in there and you put Hamby in there, you're not looking for scoring. Chuckie Murphy, yes. Cunningham, no. So I don't think those people, but he's looking for them to give them some quality minutes, and he got that, but he just didn't get the offensive punch.
And let's take a look at some of the key plays now in the first half.
Well, we're going to look at Joe Fredrick right here. There's the shot. He became the 32nd Notre Dame player to reach the 1,000 plateau. He's their best three-point shooter at 48%, and he can can him. Now, here's the guy, Elmer Bennett. No, there's the steal by Holland. Good post defense, the save by Booth right there, and you're going to watch at the tail end Stephen Howard, who wound up with 16 points in the first half. There's two of them. Good transition basketball by DePaul. Then Elmer Bennett at this end, he's going to, as I said, be a penetrator. There's the penetration. Now he's going to create. There he is. Nice. Almost a charge. Pretty good move right there on Stephen Howard's part, but Bennett just moved enough that he didn't take the charge.
And I guess if you're Digger Phelps at halftime, you had to be fairly pleased with at least the way your first five played.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. I thought really for about the first 12 minutes, I don't think Notre Dame could play any better than they played, both offensively and defensively. I think there are a few adjustments that Digger might make at halftime, but other than that, I don't think he was worried about too much.
We'll take a look at the numbers now in the first half. Numbers that Joey Meyer would like to ignore, especially on that top line.
Oh,
that's just abysmal. And don't be fooled by the 0 for 7 because DePaul had a lot of shots inside that they couldn't put down.
Ted, look at this. Melvon Foster is 1 for 7. Terry Davis is 1 for 7. And Chuckie Murphy is 0 for 5. Their guards are 2 of 19, if you can believe it. And that's why they're shooting 24%.
But DePaul hung in there on the boards, and they did something unusual. They had 10 offensive rebounds in the first half.
That's what I told you. It is their best offense is the ability to keep the ball alive and go to the offensive glass, which they weren't getting a chance to do early because I didn't think their shot selection was very good. But they have 11 more shots than Notre Dame. They're 9 of 37. Notre Dame has only had 26 shots.
And Digger Phelps would be a little bit disappointed in the turnover total. 10 first half turnovers.
That's when they started to collapse a little bit offensively, when they started to turn the ball over and got out of sync, when DePaul was starting to get back in sync.
Now, DePaul had one scorer in the first half. They had 24 points, and Stephen Howard, their sophomore center at 6'9", had 16 of those 24 points.
But look at David Booth. That's the other thing. 3 shots in 20 minutes. They cannot afford to do that. They cannot beat, I don't think, a Notre Dame or some of the quality teams they've played if David Booth doesn't get more involved in their offense.
Notre Dame had a little better spread on the point situation, led by Fredrick, 10, Robinson and Ellis with 6 apiece.
I think that's one of the reasons that Notre Dame is so hard to defend, as I said earlier, because they have 4 players right now in double figures. The only one not in the starting 5 is Monty Williams, and he is averaging 8 points a game. So they almost have 5 people in double figures.
But 31 of Notre Dame's 34 points in the first half came from its starting lineup. So as you mentioned very astutely, Jim, not much.
Not much.
Off the bench for either team. And our game tonight being very astutely produced by Steve Ulrich and directed by Gary Clement, our fine crew as always here at Notre Dame.
And on the serious side, 2 of the best in the business.
You and I.
No, I was really talking about Hippie and my friend Gary.
A whistle immediately with the Irish starting the second half.
21 blue.
And Howard has picked up his 3rd foul. Well, Howard, who we saw in the first half in agony on the floor, simply had a finger on his hand bent back at a very awkward angle. And no, 5-second violation. Bennett could not get the timeout called. 5-second violation, turnover.
It's not 80% of the time anymore. It's a full 5-second count. Even if you release the ball at 5, it doesn't have to touch a player. But that time, good defense by DePaul. And that's what they're going to have to do. They may have to win it with their defense and get back in it that way.
Howard, tough shot. Joey Meyer screaming for a foul, and Robinson comes down with it. Mentioned Howard had his finger bent back at an awkward angle on that final first half shot. He is okay, although he did have the finger taped at halftime. He's defending Robinson, and a block by David Booth, but Robinson got it back and then had it stripped. Those quick hands again by DePaul coming out with a loose ball.
Boy, what a great block by Booth. Did he rotate well? Now there's the man they've got to get the ball to more. David Booth has got to get active in this game.
Nice speed inside, and there's Booth running the baseline. And for the first time in a long time, DePaul has the lead of Notre Dame under 10.
Well, when David Booth is relaxed, when he's hitting, he's relaxed. When he's not, he gets frustrated. But he scores a lot of ways, but he has that tendency to sulk a little and get a little frustrated if he's not scoring.
Nice touch pass into Ellis, but the ball got hit on the way up. And there's LaPhonso again. And he is called for traveling. Boy, Ellis really fighting hard inside, but getting nothing.
Again, you notice how much that defense is collapsing. Notre Dame is going to continue to try to pound that ball inside to Ellis and Keith Robinson, especially to see if they can get Howard in foul trouble. He's already at the danger zone right now, but they are really collapsing on the big guys inside.
And it's Howard inside. Tough shot at Ellis. You saw Ellis's presence there. He made Howard alter that shot.
You bet. Howard does not have real good offensive skills. Now, there's good defense again by DePaul.
And Melvon brings DePaul within 6.
They're doing it with their defense, and I said that. I know I say it ad nauseum, but I'm telling you, when you've got that kind of a club and you know you're not shooting well, then you have to just do a gut check, and you've got to play defense and try to keep the intensity level exactly where DePaul has it right now. Now they're going to get Notre Dame thinking a little bit.
In the last 9 minutes of basketball, Notre Dame has scored only 5 points. Good feed into Keith Robinson by Fredrick for the hoop. But DePaul has gotten back in the ball game. They were down by 18 points with 7 minutes to play in the first half.
Now Notre Dame's still in the 2-3 zone.
And some of those shots starting to go for the Blue Demons as Davis hits.
He's their third leading scorer because he's helping them, because what he does is he gives them another potential score, which he did that time. Only a freshman, but playing good basketball.
Oh, Bennett beautifully done to LaPhonso Ellis. Great penetration by Elmer Bennett.
See, the last two sequences, Notre Dame has really operated offensively very well.
Another open shot by Davis, and here come the Irish 3-on-2. Bennett going right in. Oh, they call a blocking foul. I don't know if they count the basket.
Oh, he did.
Yes, they
Counted
do.
it.
Basket counts and a blocking foul on Melvon Foster. Big play for the Irish.
Nobody on the DePaul bench very happy about this. Boy, that, I want to tell you, that is a tough call. A really tough. That, I think, is the toughest call in basketball, because what you measure on that call, and you've heard me say it, Ted, was the defensive player planted before the offensive player left his feet, and Norm Nelson was standing right there, and I'm glad he had to make the call and I didn't, because I thought that was very difficult.
I thought that was a charge.
Did you really?
I think Joey Meyer had a real legitimate gripe.
Okay.
Big play, though, and a three-point play for Bennett. And it's 41-30, so Notre Dame gets it back to 11. His best shot, 15 feet facing the hoop.
You bet. Facing up. He's much more comfortable than when he's got people on his body and everything, because he gets his feet tangled up and everything when he's trying to play with his back to the basket. You are absolutely right, Ted.
4 minutes now gone in the half. Notre Dame by 9. Fredrick play, and no shot there. David Booth just put that right back in his face, and now you're going to get Fredrick on a foul, hustling for the loose ball.
Wasn't much question about it. Norm Nelson came running in. Mike Sechrist came running in. Joe Fredrick simply decided to make the tackle.
And so we have timeout. It'll be DePaul ball when we return. Notre Dame leads by 9. This is Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America. That was a real shaky call. Yeah.
Really? If I were going to call it, that is exact. I would have called a charge.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, but I'd have to see it.
It looked like he really had set.
Yeah. That's a big play. Yeah, that's a big play.
It's a 5-point play.
And let's, Gary, can we ever replay that again? Because Ted and I really feel that is probably the biggest play of this basketball game. Really, that's the charge. That is the biggest play in this game so far.
Call a block. Elmer Bennett 3-point play. Okay.
Who took the charge? Do we know?
Melvon.
Was it Foster?
Great. We'll talk Bennett. Jim Gibbons, not only is this the toughest call in basketball, but it can have the most impact in a game.
I think this is the biggest play in the 25 minutes of basketball, and I think you're right. That's a better angle than I had on the first one. That is a charge, and that's a 5-point turnaround right there. And I'm saying now with 15:54, and I'll guarantee you Joey Meyer will talk about it afterwards if they lose, that's the biggest play of this game.
Bennett made a fine play, but Melvon Foster appeared to make a better defensive play.
Second time I saw it, not that I was going to agree with you, Ted, but there wasn't much doubt in my mind that he had planted himself soon enough.
But still, DePaul is very much in this game. Notre Dame leading by 9. The Blue Demons have the ball. 4.5 minutes gone in the second half.
Playing a little high-low now with Holland and Howard.
And that's the first time Holland has really gone down low with the ball.
It's only about 8 points a game. He's their best inside defender, their second leading rebounder. He's been playing better lately. He has a fine work ethic, but he's just not a big offensive scorer.
And now you're going to get Ellis knocking down Holland on a screen, and LaPhonso Ellis picks up his second.
See, what DePaul has to do is take advantage of all those kinds of errors that Notre Dame makes. Whatever kind of a turnover it is, DePaul has to be opportunistic. They've got to take advantage of it.
Suddenly they can get it down to 5 on this possession.
Look at how far, look where the defense for Notre Dame is. I mean, all of them are playing right in the 3-second lane practically. I mean, watch how far that defense is back in there.
And Melvon Foster found that out when he got pinned on the baseline.
They aren't going to do any driving there, and they're going to have a tough time using their high-low or getting the ball inside. They're going to have to take those little baby jumpers from out on the wings. Look at where the defense is.
10 to shoot. Howard spotting inside, and Holland got jammed under the basket. Here's Bennett. No break. He holds it up wisely.
See, Holland got too anxious that time, Ted. He thought he had himself pinned too far underneath, and instead of keeping himself in balance, he just took a bad shot.
Terry Davis, his second foul, third team foul on the Blue Demons.
Joey Meyer and Jim Platt saying, wait a minute now, Mick, that's a 5-second count, and he didn't see anybody counting, and he's asking him, who had the count? See, one of the officials, the out guy, has to be responsible for that 5-second count. Joey just said to Mike Stockton, nobody had the count.
Monty Williams off to Robinson. Fredrick is open. Trying to feed Ellis inside, and again, good defense by DePaul. Up to Booth in transition. Spotting Howard inside. And Booth is going to be called for an offensive foul after releasing the ball. Third foul on David Booth.
Take a look now. Same play. See if he's planted. Oh, absolutely. No question about that. See, and that's just bad judgment on David Booth's part. He could have stopped right there. He had plenty of time to see that the Notre Dame player was going to jump in front of him and take the charge. All he had to do was stop and take the jump shot, Ted, because he had another player right underneath to do the rebounding for him.
So the DePaul Blue Demons have had 2 chances to cut the lead to 5 and have not been able to. And they're going to get a 3rd chance, another Irish turnover, and it's Foster going home. Missed the jam, but good follow-up by DePaul, and it's Holland there.
As soon as Foster started to slow up on that drive, I was going to bet that he didn't get a basket on. He was going to get fouled or the shot was going to get blocked.
And Notre Dame takes a timeout. This is the closest DePaul has been since the first 6 minutes of play. And we pause now for a regional break. This is Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America. Great job.
Can we show that miss on the slam dunk again?
You guys are so
Gary,
good.
Can you do that? Because I might mention your name again if
Gary,
you do.
you are so good.
Wait a minute, let me see it. Here. See, I thought he was going to get hit. Right? He thought he was going to get hit. Who is that? By Monty Williams, right? Yeah, Monty Williams. That's exactly what happened to him. And then who put it in? Who was that right there that followed it up? 15? Yeah, 15, Holland. Okay.
Killing my eyes.
Watch Melvon Foster now. I think he knows that Monty Williams is coming behind him. Look at CC. He kept looking. He lost his concentration and worried too much about the Notre Dame guy. But thank God Kevin Holland was standing right there because he was on the break with him and he was the one that got the bucket for them.
That's a good sign for DePaul. But even though Foster had a breakaway, they didn't stop.
Look at the points off the turnovers.
Look at just the turnovers.
You bet.
16 Notre Dame turnovers. That is what plagued the Irish in their inconsistent December.
Early. Now, Ted, I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but I don't think the intensity level for Notre Dame in the first 7 minutes, there's a push-off, I think, by Monty Williams.
Yes, it is.
Everything Notre Dame is doing everything Notre Dame is doing in the first 7 minutes of this second half has gone against them. They're just not making good judgments, and DePaul has taken advantage of it. I don't think their intensity is the same. Do you?
So they're certainly not hitting in rhythm as they did early in the game. The Irish led 29-11 with 7 minutes to play in the first half. So we've now played 14 minutes of ball since then, and the Irish have only scored 12 points. James Hamby in for DePaul, and it's Booth. Booth got in on the baseline, cut off underneath, still worked a shot up, and then Robinson with a rebound for the Irish. Singleton and Bennett in together as the backcourt. And Elmer knifing in is fouled.
That's the one thing that those two people can do. They can really create and they can really penetrate, and it makes it really tough for you to guard them. Now, you can drop off a little more on Singleton because he's not going to take that outside jumper, and he's coming out right now, and Fredrick's coming back in. Bennett, you've got to guard pretty well. I thought that was a poor shot on David Booth's part at the other end, Ted. Did you feel that way? When they got that close into a 5-point game, boy, you've got to work and break down the defense and get a good percentage shot. He was trapped by about 3 or 4 white shirts and still tried to force the ball up instead of kicking it back outside.
Now, one thing as Bennett's first one dances, unlike Syracuse Saturday, DePaul is not just firing away. Despite the zone, they are hammering it, and they're working it, and they're getting it inside.
Doing a good job of reading and moving.
12:38 remaining. Bennett using all of those 10 seconds you're allotted after receiving the ball for a foul shot. Elmer with 10 points, and Notre Dame leads by 7. It is now Bennett, Fredrick, Robinson, Ellis, and Ellery for the Irish. Chuckie Murphy is in for Melvon Foster for DePaul.
See, DePaul has had scoring droughts. most of the year, and this is going to be interesting to see what they do, to see how they play it at this point in the game.
This is a DePaul team, remember, that beat Louisville and that had a great chance to beat Georgetown.
You bet. They have not been a good second-half team. They have not been.
Well, that's a bad shot. That is just a bad shot by Chuckie Murphy.
That's what I'm saying. 2 possessions and 2 bad shots.
Joey Meyer threw his hands up after that one. Here's Fredrick with a drive, and he banks it. 12 for Joe Fredrick, and the Irish back to a 9-point edge.
See, they're young, and they haven't learned how to dig in on the road. And, boy, see, that's a perfect example of it, the last 2 possessions that they had. They're a young club, Ted, and as you said, when they get Price back, they get Brad Daimon back, plus Brandon Cole. See if there's a reach. Boy, I don't know. He did call it on Joe Fredrick. And look at Joe. That's why Joe said, wait a minute. If your hand hits that ball, the hand is part of the ball, and that's not a foul. He didn't even do that.
Nice drive by Terry Davis. He has 6 points. 45-38 Notre Dame. You mentioned Brandon Cole. He is at a Bloom High School in Chicago. DePaul has signed into a letter of intent, although Brandon Cole has yet to pass the necessary test to be eligible to play next year for the Demons. Keith Robinson, tough shot.
Good pop out by Bennett. Poor defense for one of the few times tonight by DePaul. The defensive man turned his back, completely lost Keith Robinson, and didn't keep Robinson between himself and the ball.
Howard with a good shot that misses.
That's a travel.
But Ellis, yep, I think he landed on Howard's foot, fell, and that's just an automatic travel call. Ellis upset, but that's just automatic.
Just so our viewers will know, if you fall to the floor, watch. See if there's any contact. See if there's contact. I don't see any contact right there. Did you, Ted? I don't see any.
Nope.
If you fall to the floor with the ball, that is an automatic travel. If you fall to the floor and you're dribbling and you continue your dribble, that is not a travel.
Davis missing on the bomb, and it's pulled down by Ellery. Bennett off to Fredrick. Joe Fredrick hits a 3. He has 15, and Notre Dame back to a 12-point lead.
Joey's going to get one.
Joey Meyer wants a timeout. Big surge for Notre Dame. And we pause now for a regional break. This is Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America. It's a wonderful idea, Hip.
I think that's a great thing, Hip.
I know Hip will be standing by to watch those Vancouver Canucks on Saturday night.
Oh, no, that's really nasty.
That is.
Gary wouldn't say something like that.
The dish heads, all of you wonderful dish heads around the world watching Notre Dame sports, should be able to enjoy the rather intellectual comments of Steve Ulrich. And next year we're going to work on that. Notre Dame back to a 12-point lead after DePaul had cut it to 5. NHL doubleheader Saturday on Sports Channel. It is Pittsburgh and Montreal. The Penguins will try to regroup now that they've lost superstar Mario Lemieux. And then it's Vancouver and Los Angeles with Wayne Gretzky. The doubleheader begins at 8 Eastern, live on Sports Channel. It is not available in all areas, so check your local listings for details. Well, the shooting is continued. Now the ball put down. That's the new college rule. After the second buzzer coming out of a timeout, the ball is put down and it's in play, and the team must inbound within 5 seconds. West Virginia lost a chance to beat Temple this year on a play like that.
See, that shot right there is one that you can hardly pass up. I mean, that is wide open. They're simply ignoring Chuckie Murphy pretty much because DePaul's trying to use the high-low.
But the one outside shooter who's gotten a little hot hand here is Terry Davis in the second half.
See, Holland and Hamby were playing the high-low, and that's what they're trying to execute against Notre Dame's defense.
10 points again.
See, good switch by DePaul. Joe Fredrick came from the one side, and good overplay. Good overplay.
Bennett with a huge play, but Bennett is called for the foul. That is great defense by Bennett.
That is the second time that they've stolen. Now watch. The last time Foster did it, now Terry Davis did it. I thought he slowed down, Ted, number one. And number two, he should have tried to get a different angle on that. Watch. If he comes closer in now, if he tries to go towards the free throw line and cracks down the angle that Bennett has to get at him, number one, Bennett can't get into his body. Then he can use his right arm to keep him away from him and put the ball up on the glass with his left hand. But the angle he gave Bennett allowed Bennett to make that block.
Terry Davis calmly hits the first foul shot. That play by Bennett really got the students going here at the ACC. They haven't seen many Notre Dame players over the years at 6'1" or 6'2" that can get up like Elmer Bennett.
He can do it all. I mean, boy, for a sophomore, he's got a great future in front of him the next few years at Notre Dame.
And so Davis misses one. Irish ball, 9-point lead, 9.5 to play.
Paul, 7 of 8 at the line, a little better than the 13 for 30. Look at the turnovers in the second half.
That is ugly from Notre Dame's standpoint. That's really what kept DePaul in the game. Keith Robinson with a miss, and James Hamby rebounds. But you have to credit DePaul's defense for creating a lot of those turnovers.
Exactly. That's the quickness. They overplayed the last time. You know, the two things about playing defense is the ability to anticipate, and the second is a willingness to sustain an effort, and boy, they anticipated.
And James Hamby inside. He averages just 2 points a game. He hit his average there, and it's 7 points for Notre Dame.
Anything he scores is a bonus, believe me.
But right now, DePaul is going to get this game where they want it, in the 60s. Ellery, tough shot. Here come the Demons. They can cut it to 5 as Bennett fouls. That is his second, and that is the 6th on Notre Dame.
Elmer Bennett had the right idea. You know, Digger didn't want the foul, obviously. Bennett had the right idea. Digger's going to call him over, but he just didn't stop in time. What he was trying to do was distract, was it Davis or Murphy that had the ball? Do you remember, Ted? Might have been. Okay, well, what he was trying to do was distract the DePaul player so that he was going to travel when he saw him out of the corner of his eye, but Bennett got too much contact on him.
Well, now in this big offensive possession, Joey Meyer gets Stephen Howard and David Booth back in the game. And Howard takes a crazy shot and makes it for his 20th point, and DePaul is back within 5.
Kind of an adventure with him inside, isn't it? I mean, boy, did he change the trajectory on that shot, because let me tell you one thing, the pit bull, Kevin Ellery, played about as good a defense as you can play against the guy. See if Fredrick takes over again. Every time it gets into this kind of a situation, they're going to try to pound it inside, I would suspect Ellis, to watch Fredrick.
Bad play there by Notre Dame. They were about to turn that ball over, but Melvon Foster called for his 3rd foul, and that is the 6th on DePaul.
See, they lost a little bit of quickness, DePaul did, Ted, because they lost Curtis Price, who was their best athlete, and he's a 3 and 4 position player. And then they lost B.J. Tyler, which took another athlete off the floor. So, as we've said before, that has really hurt them. They used to press a lot, but without those people, they haven't been able to press as much.
And now foul shooting will play in. Every foul the rest of the way will be shot. 7:35 to play. And let's see what our call is here. And it is a foul against DePaul. And I think that's Foster again. This would be his 4th. Foster's 4th foul. DePaul's 7th. So the Irish will start shooting. And Joey Meyer real unhappy with that call. Foster out. Terry Davis returning.
Can you hear what's being said?
And there's the DePaul radio broadcast team. The famous Chuck Swirsky is on the right. The guy you may have seen before is Coach Ray Meyer.
You're supposed to say, who's that with Chuck Swirsky?
That's it. Ellis Ellis missing the front end of a 1-and-1.
I laugh because what the DePaul coaches have been saying, and is the score getting too close for you? They're saying that to the officials, meaning every time that they get within striking distance, a call is made, and it's going in Notre Dame's favor.
Well, clearly getting too close for Notre Dame, but the Blue Demons with a big turnover there inside.
That had nothing to do with officiating right there. That's just a turnover. You simply did not look the ball into the hands, and you've got to play from the shoulders up.
Well, there's your foul trouble. There is no Notre Dame player with more than 2. As we approach the 7-minute mark remaining, and Bennett is fouled by Chuckie Murphy. That is his first, and Elmer Bennett will be at the line. Notre Dame should have an edge in foul shooting, as you mentioned in the first half. That really cost DePaul dearly in their loss to Alabama Birmingham Saturday.
Yep. They have to use their quickness, and when they're able to use it, Ted, I'm telling you, they're going to win. They aren't going to beat teams with size and strength inside, so they have to use their quickness both offensively and defensively.
Well, Bennett perfect at the line tonight, 5 of 5. And Notre Dame nearly duplicating their feat in the Syracuse game. All but 3 of Notre Dame's points in this game have come from their starting 5. Two big foul shots for Bennett.
Just seems to me that players get into that lane earlier and earlier the longer the season goes on. I don't know what the answer to it is, but I'll tell you one. Now, they can leave as soon as the ball is shot. The free throw shooter cannot, but the other players can.
Terry Davis hung it short, and a big rebound by Ellis. Seems like the rebounds would really count. Ellis will swoop in and just smother them.
He is just spectacular on that defensive glass. He's their leading rebounder at 12 a game.
Good shot there, Fredrick off the double screen.
He's been leader in 12 of the last 14 games. He's been their leading rebounder. He really has a knack for going to that defensive glass. Notre Dame staying in the zone.
Ellery hacked in on that ball, but Hamby saves it, and then hooks a shot up that missed, and Ellis with another rebound. And that glare, that competitive glare of Ellis's.
DePaul just not getting much out of their offense the last 3 or 4 minutes, Ted. Every time they've gotten close in that game, the fact that they're a young club and they don't have a lot of scoring potential really has frustrated them.
But they still work on defense, and Bennett had the ball knocked away on his drive.
You know, and I think the same applies that you said in the first half. It's not like they're not getting good shots. Don't you agree still?
Oh, yeah, I think DePaul, for the most part, can't complain tonight, even against the zone. They have gotten shots. DePaul was all over UCLA at Pauley Pavilion. UCLA switched to a zone and won the game. And there's a good inbound, but Fredrick dropped it, gets it back from Ellis, and the Irons steal 2.
Boy, they had a wide-open play right there because Notre Dame put on a back screen, and DePaul didn't switch, and they were wide open.
17 for Joe Fredrick is the top scorer for the Irish. With 5.5 to play, it's 9 points again. Stephen Howard. And there's a good fight, and Kevin Holland got a basket and a foul.
Boy, I was just going to say, it'll seem like after the fact right now, but I felt that was a very, very important possession for DePaul. I really did. And if they can get a three-pointer out of this, watch now. Watch. That's just sheer hustle and determination. Look at that. Robinson, on the other hand, simply didn't get his body into that man. He felt the contact, and instead of going with Holland and getting into his body, he let him simply out-hustle him for the rebound.
And Holland just out-fought Notre Dame for the rebound of the missed foul shot. Booth missing, and Howard is in there, and a foul on the Irish. And this could be a 4-point possession for DePaul. And every time Notre Dame looks like they're going to put this one away, DePaul does not quit.
Did you notice that Booth shot with his right hand that time? Huh? Changed the ball from one hand to the other when he knew where the defensive pressure was coming from. But then Howard got in there again. He is their, I mean, he can go to that glass. He is their best offensive rebounder, but that's a perfect example. They don't have the size, and people worry about rebounding without size. Look at, they got the quickness.
Well, that one hit the rim a second time and hurt Notre Dame, and Howard gets the basket. So with 3 chances, DePaul scores 4 points.
You can rebound with quickness even though you don't have the height and the bulk, and they're proving it.
Oh, it is a game again. 5 points, 5 minutes to play. And inside, foul on Ellis. And we're going to go to the other end and have DePaul shooting for a 3-point game.
Been watching the Fonz a little bit, and I think he's getting frustrated by the officiating a bit more than I've seen that happen to him in quite a while. But when you play down inside in the post area and you've got DePaul people guarding you, you can be sure they aren't going to plant behind you. They are really going to play good post position, and that's what they tried to do. That's what Holland tried to do, and Ellis tried to wipe them right out of there.
Kevin Holland with his 7th point. This is as close as DePaul has been since the game's early moments. 21 Notre Dame turnovers tonight. Robinson snared that rebound, and it's just a 4-point Irish lead. This game may not even get to 60. Notre Dame had 22 points in the first 10 minutes of the game. Boy, Booth almost stole that from Monty Williams. Here's the Fonz inside. And Ellis going to go to the line. Kevin Holland is whistled for his 2nd foul.
Boy, again, did you see the hands? Did you see the hands that DePaul used? I said you play defense with your feet, but you've got to play it with your hands, supplement it with your hand action. DePaul thought the Fonz traveled, but looking at that replay, I didn't see where he did travel. And boy, he is tough in that low post position because he knows how to get that left arm out there to get the defense away from his body, and he's got that soft baby hook.
22% foul shooter, and you saw his great rebounding numbers. The last Notre Dame player to average in double figures in a season of rebounding was Kobe Knight 13 years ago.
1976-77, Ted, and the young man is going to pass that.
And DePaul runs the rebound down, and it's knocked away, and Monty Williams has it knocked away, or knocks it away from Foster, and then the officials overrule. Now they discuss. One official gave the ball to Notre Dame. The other called a foul on Monty Williams.
Well, I'll tell you, if they disagree, that's got to be a jump ball, and you got to go with that arrow. But I'm going to see if one talks the other out of it.
It is a foul on Monty Williams. Monty Williams knocked it away from Foster.
Well, the foul.
Norm Nelson gave Notre Dame the ball. The Mick Seacrest called a foul on Williams.
Obviously, the foul takes precedent over the other call. And if that's what Mick Seacrest had, let's watch Williams. Watch Williams.
Well, first of all, the ball should never have been Notre Dame. The ball went out on Williams anyway.
Plus the fact there was contact.
And Melvon Foster rattles the foul shot in, his 5th point. Joey Meyer knows how much this game means to his team, struggling to reach the NCAAs. Like Notre Dame, they have played a killer schedule this year.
Only a 58% free throw shooter, and now here's the 1-2-1-1.
Oh, it's a trouble. 5-second violation, turnover, and DePaul gets it back, down just 3 with 4:33 remaining. Another Irish turnover. 22 of them in this game by Notre Dame.
Now see how DePaul handles it when they get within 3. This is one of those other possessions where you've got to try to break down the defense.
Booth on the drive, and the floater rolls off the rim, and Keith Robinson with a big rebound. Still a long way to go. But Notre Dame needs to find an offensive answer here. They've only scored 21 points in the second half.
Right into the 1-2-2, and DePaul is doing a good job because every time Notre Dame tries to curl, Ted, they're simply switching down below, so it's not doing Notre Dame any good.
Long rebound, Ellis, and Ellis travels. Turnover 23, and DePaul will get it back. And Digger Phelps can't be happy with the way this is going. A game that Notre Dame led by 18 in the first half. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching Notre Dame basketball on Sports Channel America. this at all. I don't mind telling you. Or you dish egg. I just don't like the way this game is progressing. I don't feel very comfortable about it. What is this? Who's that? Is that Genie doing that? Who's that, Genie? Oh, I don't know him. Copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Sports Channel America. It's intended for the private, non-commercial use of our audience, and don't use it without the express written consent of Sports Channel America. I imagine Digger Phelps, after those few choice words for the officials, had some more for his club. I don't imagine he let his quota get away. You bet. It's a combination from a sloppy ball by Notre Dame and some very aggressive defense by DePaul. Exactly. Let's see with the defense. Let's see, they're staying in the zone. Are they staying in the zone? Matching up. Holland kicks it out, and that's Davis for 2. Offensive rebound, Stephen Howard, and DePaul is within 1. That's the man I told you. Boy, he can really go to the offensive glass. And when you're zoning, you don't have that box-out responding. You've got the responsibility, but you don't have that man. And boy, did he go to that glass. Stephen Howard with 24 points tonight. Elmer Bennett. Big shot by Bennett. Wow. He's for real. But on the transition, and Davis got fouled. Notre Dame did not get back. And Monty Williams commits his 3rd foul. There's a young man, Bennett, that came in as a point guard, as we know. Just wasn't comfortable playing that point. Yeah. Look at the back is turned. Didn't know where the ball was. You cannot run down that floor with your back to the ball. And you've got to play defensive. You've got to play that transition, especially on defense. I always told people, you're going to do any loafing on me, do it when we're on offense. Don't do it when we're on defense. 62% foul shooter is Terry Davis. 2:58 remaining. Great high school football player in suburban Atlanta. He was recruited by several SEC schools to do that. Chose DePaul and basketball. And he keeps DePaul within a point. Right into the 1-2-2. I mean, the 1-2-1-1. See, they're not guarding the man out of bounds. They're just doubling up on the Notre Dame people out on the floor. DePaul still staying in it with the free throws. They're 12 of 16. Notre Dame's 14 of 19. So the visiting team will take that anytime. You're down to a 2-minute and 45-second basketball game right now. The team that executes in their half court, the team that isn't going to turn it over, the team that's going to shoot well and hit at the line, you're down to a 2-minute and 30-second game. Bennett again. Oh, my. Elmer Bennett with 2 huge baskets. See, now what that does is it really puts the pressure on DePaul. Especially when you're not a good shooting team. Now you feel you've got to score again to get back in it. And again, the Notre Dame students making a lot of noise. That's the end of the court DePaul is shooting at. Tip pass by the Irish. DePaul keeps it with 22 to shoot. 2:04 to play. Tell you, when they shoot it, somebody better get into Stephen Howard's body in a hurry. And somebody got in there as Robinson with a steal. Robinson knocked the inbound pass away. And now a possession that Notre Dame could really kick them with some points. You bet. They're going to spread it out and go into a 4-corner. But this isn't going to hurt, I don't think, DePaul that much, Ted, because they've got the quickness. Some teams, you can spread them out like this and they can't match up with you, but I think DePaul can, and they don't want to make a mistake right now because they're going to get that ball back and they're going to be able to take a 3-pointer if they need it. Shot clock at 12.
You just have to play good defense.
At 10, Monty Williams lost the ball. Double dribble. He caught his own ball after he lost it with the shot clock running out.
If the ball is touched, that's one thing. If it's not, then it becomes a travel.
And DePaul takes a timeout with 1:23 remaining. DePaul has just one timeout remaining. Notre Dame has 3. And we mentioned that for Joey Meyer, such a crucial basketball game. We spoke beforehand about, just as Digger Phelps would speak about the killer schedule his team has played, and they have not had enough manpower this year to play the schedule they have. Yet they've had a good win over Louisville, and if they can put a win here tonight against a good team on the road, they feel like their chances to get to the tournament will be that much stronger. But Digger Phelps knows that the great win his team posted, one of the best wins that Notre Dame has ever had over Syracuse, would be negated with a loss here tonight.
Let's see if we can get Digger.
Ago this month here, and you remember one of the greatest basketball games ever played in this building, February of 1980. DePaul came in here 25-0, number 1 in the nation. Notre Dame beat them in overtime.
Yep, I was here, my friend, and so were you, I assume. Now, what are you going to say? I'm going to say that they don't necessarily have to take a three-point shot here. If you can get it inside, then you can call timeout if you have to and put that press back on, but I don't think you take a wild three-pointer if you don't have to.
Considering they don't shoot it well. Well, there's a huge shot by Chuckie Murphy, his first basket of the game for 2.
Now they've got to put a little more pressure on right now, but again, not let Notre Dame get the back door, and at a point, they've got to know if they're going to foul the person they have to foul.
They don't need to foul. They're going to get the ball back.
They're going to get the ball back again. They just have to play that very good defense.
This is a must score for Notre Dame, or else DePaul will have a shot at winning. Shot clock is at 20. At 18, Fredrick, good spin, and he is fouled going down the lane. Fouled by Terry Davis with 32 seconds. But Joe Fredrick is going to have to make the foul shot because DePaul will get the ball and they won't have to give it back.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's as close as you can come to traveling right here. And they got him with a little push, and it was more the hands right there than it was anything because Joe was out of control, and I think he was stumbling, and he was about to run right in to another DePaul player and lose the basketball.
79%, and Fredrick calmly cans one.
Well, he hit the 2 winning free throws in the 86-84 win over UCLA. 4-year senior, he's used to the pressure, and I guess I'd say if there were anybody that I was going to send to the line right now, I guess I'd pick Joe Fredrick.
Oh, the miss, and DePaul will have a chance to tie or win.
Now see if Joey gets the last timeout.
That is his last timeout. 25 seconds remaining. We'll come back. DePaul will have a chance to at least tie after a regional break.
Can you hear what he's saying? What Joey's saying?
Interesting point. Do you gamble on overtime, or do you try to win it with your one shot right here?
I think you've got to take the best shots available to you, Kevin.
All right, we'll say that when we come back. Okay.
And I think you've got to get the ball in the hands of David Booth, maybe.
Ted Robinson, Jim Gibbons back in the ACC, and Notre Dame, question for Joey Meyer to decide if he has during this timeout. You're the visiting team on the road. You have one shot at winning. Do you go for the 3 and the winner? Do you gamble on an overtime as the visiting team?
I have always felt, honestly, Ted, that you take the best shot that's available. I don't think with this club that he has, especially as you said before, their three-point shooting skills at only 33%. I really feel that his chances are... Now, Notre Dame looked at the setup. Very good call. Digger called timeout.
DePaul is out of timeouts. That was just the second called by Digger Phelps, so he still has 2. With 25 seconds remaining, Notre Dame leads 60 to 58. DePaul would shoot any foul, and DePaul is not a good foul shooting team.
No, they're shooting, where are they at free throws? 70%, but, you know, they've got, I'd have to see who's on the floor. Holland's at 76%, Booth at 74, Howard at 78. Melvon Foster's only at 58. Terry Davis only at 62.
You'd have to figure that the 2 guys that are going to get the ball, and Digger knows this too. You got to look at Booth at 74% or Davis at 62.
Well, I've got to finish up, and well, let's see if we can catch Digger. I think that's important that we listen. He's setting up the defense. Did you hear what he just said to them? Box out. That's the one thing, because now what DePaul is going to do, they are just going to, when they take that shot, they have to have 5 people crashing that offensive glass because they've got nothing to lose.
Joey Meyer kneeling, knows how huge this is for his team.
Now, they can go into the backcourt and catch the ball here, which is probably exactly what Chuckie Murphy's going to do. Let's see how they try to create here and what they go into a 1-2-2 set. And Notre Dame's playing a man-to-man. Man-to-man.
We'll watch it. Booth.
Booth's got to do it if it's a man-to-man.
David Booth could give DePaul the lead.
Boy, as soon as they go into that man-to-man, if you don't get that ball into the hands of David Booth, then you're really blundering, because he is so offensive-minded. He's got those athletic skills, and his game is to penetrate and try to get fouled and get to the free. Now, watch the crossover. Watch the crossover. That's a very, very, very good move. Williams played. Watch, Williams is playing pretty good defense right here. It was the crossover that really got him, and that's a good matchup with Booth against Williams, because Williams' strongest suit is not defense.
Notre Dame has taken another timeout prior to Booth's foul shot with 12 seconds remaining. And what Digger undoubtedly will do here is set up the last shot. Following the foul shot, good or not good, he's going to set up the last shot and a chance to win it.
Exactly.
And he still has plenty of time. And I know the ball is going to want to get to Elmer Bennett.
You bet. And most coaches, and that's exactly what you want to do, because Bennett's the guy that has the hot hand. He's coming off the Syracuse shot. He can dribble in there, and he can start to penetrate and create. There goes Digger into the huddle. And now, they aren't going to call any timeouts after this is over with. They're just going to go because they don't want to give DePaul a chance to set up anything, except Joey now is obviously setting up his defense based on whatever happens at the free throw line.
DePaul's leading scorer, David Booth, at 17.5 points a game, just 8 points tonight. But the last basket is biggest, and now a 74% foul shooter. He'll have one shot to give DePaul its first lead since 4-3 early in the game.
What I am anxious to see, Ted, is if he makes this free throw, I am anxious to see if DePaul is going to go into the 1-2-1-1. I'm not quite sure that they'll do it, and if they do, I'm not sure how much pressure they'll put on, because they can't afford to have Notre Dame break it and have a numbers advantage.
And David Booth gives DePaul its first lead.
See, they pulled it off. They're going to go back and get right into a man-to-man, and Bennett has the ball.
Bennett drew the foul. What a great play by Bennett with 5 seconds remaining. Oh, he took advantage of a freshman, and Terry Davis fouls out with 5 seconds to play, and Bennett will go to the line.
And here's a young man who what I wanted. Watch, because DePaul could have put a double team on him right there, and they could have rotated over right inside on the Fonz, and they would have had Notre Dame in big trouble right there. Jamere Jackson's coming in to get some senior leadership. Monty Williams is coming out. That's a good substitution. But Elmer Bennett had the presence of mind to force the contact and then just throw the ball at the glass to finish the shot. And I'm telling you, this doesn't happen very often where a guy puts himself in a position to win a Syracuse game on national television and then to come into this game where they're fighting for a bid and then have him go to the line with a chance to win this one. This is my favorite scenario, Ted. You know why? There's no place for that guy to hide, right? DePaul has no timeout. Chuckie Murphy for the win. Yes, he's tipped in. Basket counts, and DePaul wins.
Won a national championship on this play. For DePaul, this one might be that big.
Watch this. He had room to take that shot. He didn't get himself set, and he had more time to do it. But I'll tell you, that is a great call on your part, Ted. That is a great call.
Stephen Howard, 26 points. And DePaul has won a huge game. We'll come back in a moment. Hey, you know what else we should show if we have a chance is Digger walking away after shaking hands with Joey Meyer. The exact opposite.
Have you got it? Yeah, that's exactly what I looked at, Hip and Gary. Well, yeah, no, he just stood at midcourt stunned.
After shaking hands and then turning the walk away. And he was very cordial, but I'm saying it's the exact opposite. Dancing one day and...
What's the agony or thrill or whatever it is? Howard had 26?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We saw him walk away. I don't know if you still may not have it, but we saw him walk away. Okay.
Take a look at the clock. Go ahead. Can you keep going? Can you keep going or no?
Got it queued up.
You know the shooting in the second half for DePaul only? Where is Howard? Is that Howard right down there? Yeah. That's a good angle right there.
Everybody comes up to watch.
That's a good angle. Everybody's coming out to challenge the three-point shooter. Very good angle.
Here is the biggest play in recent DePaul basketball history.
Now look at the whole defense started to come out on the three-point shooter. Howard had the presence of mind to just keep going toward that basket. And boy, the worst scenario for DePaul would have been if that ball had hit the rim. If that ball had hit the rim, the game is all over.
Right.
It's exactly as you said about the North Carolina State team, Ted, winning an NCAA championship on almost the identical play.
Exactly it. That's the shot. That wasn't a pass. And you're right. If Chuckie Murphy's shot hit the rim, Notre Dame's a winner. Instead, and give Stephen Howard credit, he came up big in a big game, Jim. Yep. Stephen Howard with 26 points, just 2 shy of his career high.
Not only did he come up big offensively, I want to tell you, he played as good a game going to the offensive glass as you're ever going to see. I just felt that you had 2 different halves. Notre Dame won the first half going away. DePaul won the second half going away. I thought DePaul played a excellent second half. I thought their quickness really affected Notre Dame, and I thought that they did a good enough job, a very fine job on the free throw line, and made them when they had to.
And it does not at all discredit a great performance. Elmer Bennett, 2 key baskets and then 2 gutty foul shots with 5 seconds left. Bennett had 18 points for Notre Dame tonight, but Jim, it was 3 days ago. Digger Phelps did the dance in midcourt. Tonight, he was stunned and had to walk away in a game that he thought he had won.
I have a thing about watching coaches when games are over. Digger stood right in the middle of the floor like he was paralyzed. The other thing that really caused the problems for Notre Dame, the inordinate number of turnovers.
Notre Dame led by 18 in the first half, but tonight, DePaul is the winner. Big East basketball tomorrow night. Well, Big East meets Atlantic 10 on Sports Channel. Great matchup, Villanova and Temple. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on Sports Channel. Coming up next, we'll join Sports Business in progress. A huge win for DePaul, down 18 in the first half. They come back to beat Notre Dame. With Jim Gibbons, I'm Ted Robinson saying good night from Notre Dame.